so bad about
Do
saying
you?
that, you know.
Where is Paul? Well, I don't have.
Paul and Jenny and the girls live in Charlottesville, Virginia.
They live there.
Yeah, they live there. They live there. You know, Mother, I hear almost nothing from them. Cindy will get a note from them every once in a while.
Do you remember the Haydens?
I vaguely remember.
Joyce
they were
Skeeter.
They were from Charlottesville, weren't they?
Well, I think it was either she or maybe it was he. It must have been he because the last name is the one. His father or grandfather had been the mayor of Charlottesville at one time. She was from it had to be he because of the name Hayden. He was from a prominent Charlottesville family. And Joyce, her mother was a divorcee, and Joyce didn't even remember her father, and she was the only child. She was pretty close to her mom. And I don't remember what her mother did, but I think she taught at University of Virginia. I'm not sure. So Joyce had lived in Richmond too. So I don't know.
Did we ever stay with them? Did we ever spend the night with them? Did our family ever spend the night with them?
Send a what?
Spend the night.
Oh no. No, we may have though on the way to someplace.
Mm-hmm.
Are you thinking of? Yeah, I think we did, Joe. Where are we going? To Florida? Or?
Who knows? I mean, it would have been Pennsylvania to somewhere.
Yeah, I should have. No, if it were Pennsylvania, we would have driven straight through. We wouldn't have spent overnight. It was on a trip.
No, it would be, and you wouldn't have done it. I mean, it would have been Daddy, but it would have been with us too. But it could have been on a trip when we lived in Pennsylvania. It could have been on some kind of trip.
So the people that you were talking about, are you talking about people you knew in Pennsylvania or in Durham?
Pennsylvania.
Both.
Well, yeah, but I mean, these were basically.
He was a radiologist.
Okay.
And the University of Virginia.
So
his grandfather, had been governor of Virginia at one time. Governor or high up in.
Is he one of these medical people that knew Paul in Pennsylvania and then went down to Durham?
No. He never went to Durham.
He never went to Durham.
No. All I remember is they call him Skeeter.
Yeah, I remember that. But I suspect the connection was that he knew Paul in Sayre at the Robert Packer and then moved to Charlottesville.
Yeah.
I suspect that was the way that.
I don't know how. Well, he was a radiologist. That's how
sure.
Daddy. That's the connection there between Daddy and Skeeter. I don't know. And her name, and I'll never forget. She came up to me, and this was a party, and I think it was at their house, and I think it was on Cuda in Waverly, that main thoroughfare, in the side yard. And I remember Joyce coming up to me and asking me what it was like to kiss a man with a mustache. Because Daddy, I never saw your father with a clean shave. He always had a mustache. Not a big one, always very trim. Almost Hitler-like, you know. But she wondered, and I said, well, go. Yeah, and she said, and I said, well, I can't tell you what it's like. You have to have your own sensation. I said, to me, it's wonderful, and I appreciate everyone I got. And I said, and I can get a kiss anytime I want to. I don't even have to ask. I said, you just go out and poke him and give him a kiss and see what it's like. Oh, what do you think? Her husband at that time was not in residence, what I want to say, in radiology. So they hadn't been there very long. But she was from Ithaca. Her mother
Oh,
was,
okay.
yeah, her mother was head of the women's dorms or something at Cornell. Joyce had a Cornell, I just connect her with Cornell, that's all I remember about her. But, and then the other thing is, what does it feel like to kiss a man who has a mustache? I don't go asking. Oh, she wouldn't dare ask. Missions,
Sure.
they started, they started the technicians, not school, but instead of nursing, that sort of thing. I was early in that program. Of course, that's where I met Daddy, and that was the end of.
In your career.
Yeah. I did. I never took the boards, so I really wasn't certified. I never took the boards. I met Daddy, and we fell madly in love.
Were you ever tempted
He
to
was
go in?
older, so
Were
we got
you
married.
ever tempted to go into nursing instead?
Into what?
Into nursing?
No.
That was Marion's domain.
That Marion always, when she was a little girl, she played nurse. Now, I was usually the patient.
I'm
Between
sure.
Marion and Millie, I got the.
Yeah, well,
I was the patient.
the same thing happened to me.
Yeah. We played with dolls quite, but not as much as things like that, I don't know. Seems so long ago, Joe, and yet when I turn my head, it seems like yesterday. There are two sides.
Can't believe how things have changed so quickly.
Well, you've been to Finger Lakes, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't
But
think Lavon's ever
When
been swimming in one.
when the girls were little, y'all spent a lot of time up at the lake with Don's boat.
No,
No,
Don
we
didn't
didn't
have
know
He didn't got
Don.
the
When
boat
the
until
girls
later.
were little.
Oh, that's right, of course. You didn't know Don until
Yeah,
after
we
the
didn't
war.
know Don.
No,
I
we
started
didn't.
dating Don.
No, when you,
You dated him before the war.
yeah, you dated him before
Yeah,
you were married.
yeah,
No.
because he was drafted, I think, first draft.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
I
he
mean-
was a friend of Harold's.
But we knew, when I was a little tiny thing, I knew Don. I mean, we all knew him, but he didn't have the boat until much later.
No.
I mean, that was the thing, he didn't have the boat.
Mm-mm.
But when we would go out, when we'd have a family outing, it would be up to down World's End, where World's End is.
Yeah, that
Or
was
Lake Wysocki,
Uncle
we would
Gordon
go
and Aunt
there.
Mary's favorite spot.
Yeah,
They
it's
all-
wonderful. World's End is wonderful.
Yeah,
Lake Wysocki, we
Yeah,
go there. Sometimes
yeah.
we go to Cayuga.
yeah.
Not often. There's that little park in Ithaca, sort of at the end of the lake.
When
Go to
we
Sullivan's
went on
Monument.
Sundays and picnics and things, we usually went to the Finger Lakes.
Yeah. Or sometimes we go up to Sullivan's Monument because it was close.
Yeah, we'd go there.
Sometimes we go to Waverly Glen, but not often.
No, that was always crowded. That was the famous for kids' birthday parties.
Yeah, and they had the best slides and all.
Yeah, they had a lot. It was a kids' park, really, but it was
Well, I've
there
been
for
with-
years.
So did your Aunt Mary live right there in town?
Aunt Mary was Uncle Gordon's wife.
Right, did they
lived
live
in
right-
Baltimore?
They didn't ever live around the Waverly Sayre area.
No.
So
They
you
were
didn't
from
really-
Baltimore.
you didn't
They
really
came
see
up
that much of
every,
them.
every year, at least once.
I see.
They visited, and when they did, they had all their.
See, I had in my mind always that he was local there, but when he
No.
was writing that little book of poems, he wasn't living in that area.
He was Guilford Realty. He was a real estate.
Hmm.
He's in that company. I know he must have been up in the upper end of, Uncle Gordon. He was, well, I think he was kind of a manager, a mathematician, all that, so he just ran the whole thing. And,
No idea.
well, you never knew him.
I
You
don't
saw him.
remember.
Actually, I was just a little kid, so I don't remember too much of Uncle
Was he,
Roy.
was he alive when I was born?
Joe, I do not remember. I don't know when.
I don't
I
ever
know he
remember.
had a heart attack. He
So,
I know. I think I was home. I think I was with Mother, and the phone rang, and they told us that Uncle Gordon had gone to. It was must have been early in the morning or something. Anyway, he was shaving. He was shaving, and the old-fashioned kind, you know. And he just he died there in the bathroom.
hey,
He was-
Helen, the motorcycle shop that Harry had, was that shop still operating when you were growing up?
Oh yes.
So you remember it from the 20s and
Oh, I
even into the
remember,
30s?
yeah,
Did he
Uncle-
have that up until World War II started still?
He had, I don't know when he sold it. Harold and Aunt Nellie must have sold it. I don't know. I think the guy, I want to say his name was Shrek or something like that, who, when Uncle Harry wanted to go hunting, which he did, I mean, he'd be gone for a week hunting, this guy kind of learned, because Harold was not interested. Harold inherited it, but he was no more interested in that than putting on roller skates and going up a mountain. You know, he was not interested in it. So this guy, whom Uncle Harry hired when Uncle Harry wanted to go hunting or something, be gone for a week or go to New York, I don't know. Anyway, this guy learned the ropes very quickly, and he ran the store, because the store was in Athens.
Right.
And if he hadn't, Aunt Nellie took over. I mean, she knew as much about it as anybody.
But some of those old pictures of the guys on the motorcycles, they were
That's
before you.
me.
That was before
That's
you were born.
before I was born.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Now, Mother could have told him.
I have always thought of those pictures as dating from around 1910 or so.
I don't know when they were, before I was born.
All the stores had, it seems like all those pictures had stores with a lot of bunting on them, you know, it was sort of like Memorial Day or
Yeah, they get
July
you.
or whatever. they-
Well, the guys would get together probably on a Sunday too, because stores, everything was closed on Sunday. And that's when they would get on their motorcycles and go. But they all had motorcycles, and I mean, and Dad was the one that worked on the motorcycles,
Yeah.
could do the motorcycles. Dad could fix anything. Yeah, he could make, couldn't afford to buy some of the toys. So he made some of the toys for the girls. I think they're all gone now, aren't they? Remember the doll swings and all
Oh,
that?
yeah, we had cradles.
And Dad made
swings.
very carefully. He made those doll size playground
You
and
know, Cindy sent pictures of Jeff and his granddaughters, Marcella's son Jeff. And Jeff is a spitting image of Grandpa, and he's in his workshop, and he's making baby for, doll furniture.
Doll
for his
furniture for the
granddaughters.
doll.
Just so, I told Cindy I thought that picture looked like 1950. It just took me right back and see Grandpa in his,
all. Yeah.